played. The Rock ahead by a score of 4-3. The Edge NLL Championship game continues on NBC after these messages from your local NBC station.
Sunday, it's down to the final four. And for one contender, he was undefeated.
Well, that was the nervousness before the game got started. Then came the checking. Some strong goalkeeping. Well, you have to think that as Dan Dawson told Mark Morgan downstairs, that 5-minute penalty hurt Arizona's chances, especially after they took the lead in the game.
And you know, they looked so relaxed. They were playing so well. Officially, Toronto was 1 for 3 on the power play, but they got that one just as it was ending. So they're 2 for 3.
This is Bob Hamley talking to Jonas Dirks about not doing that again, and other things, perhaps. See those wire cages that they wear to protect themselves? Daryl Gibson, number 19 in the sand-colored uniform, took a shot from Caleb Toth of Calgary in the last game. He can fire it over 100 miles an hour. It bent the wire into his retina. Fortunately, did not put his eye out.
And he actually came back to continue in that game.
Ahead now with it, moving in as Manning, and a shot was blocked off, as getting that was Miron. Now Josh Sanderson. What a jam up in the middle right now.
Toronto's out shooting Arizona 17-11. Mike Miron has brought his A game.
Doyle feeds in front, and unable to get a good shot away that time was Rusty Kruger. Miron behind the back, artful little pass ahead that is brought out by Daryl Gibson. Yes, Gibson indeed did finish that game. Iris, retina, everything fine thanks to the wire. But it got bent on the force of the shot. Kahn and drive! And the game is tied! Craig Kahn, second of the game, 11th of the playoffs.
This guy is just a playoff performer. 20 goals in 13 regular season games. And that's his 11th of these 3 playoff games. He can put him in the net when it really counts, but see the interference, nice little pick by Dan Dawson. Lindsey Plunkett going to the net hard. A lot of traffic, makes some room for Craig Kahn on that goal.
Jim Belton, 10th championship game. 7 championship wins, going for 8. Has come off the floor now. Josh Sanderson with it. Fed one in front, oh, and Miron came up with a stop as breaking for the front of the net was Sandy Chapman. Ball squibs ahead, brought back on by Mark Cochran. Scored the winning goal in the victory over Calgary, age 39. Does not get many opportunities, but now moving in, Dawson on, a shot, it bounces in! What a maneuver in front, Dawson on the feed from Kahn.
Well, it's no secret that Dan Dawson and Craig Kahn are the guys that you have to stop for Arizona, but it's easier said than done. They each got 2 goals. Good move by Dan Dawson. He's got such great reach. Tough to hit. He reaches right over you.
Toronto back on the attack. Settle it down a little bit. Chris Driscoll is now coming to the bench, and also stepping off for Toronto, Patrick Merrill. Get it set. They have Doyle at the back. Working the outside with Kruger. Set a pick for him there. Doyle on a cross. Fed around in front, but a high flyer went by Aaron Wilson. Wilson with a good deal of checking on him by Peter Locke that time. But the ball not turned over to Arizona yet. Staggering free is Bruce Codd, and he's able to nudge it ahead. So now Arizona can motor out on the attack. Daryl Gibson bringing it ahead. He's got Peter Locke nearby. Feeds it over for him. Locke a shot, and it ricocheted off the boards wide. Ball turned back to Toronto. Phil Sanderson bringing it ahead.
All right, Toronto, let me hear.
Josh's cousin, nephew of the coach. They work to the outside and a pass across. No way was that going to get to Patrick Merrill. Just a logjam of players in front. Good aggressiveness by Arizona. They lead in this game 5-4. Nearly 3 minutes played in the second quarter. Hard shot is just ricocheted away calmly by Miron. That came from the stick of Matt Shearer, and back on the attack again come the Sting. Holding on to it is Scott Self. Self trying to get his way in front. Good defense played on him, and they force him to the outside. The hallmark of the Rock up until this year was defense. They have now become a run-and-gun wide-open team, and we have goaltender coming off on a delayed penalty call against Toronto. So Dawson holds. Finesse one in front, and the bounce shot in front is stopped by Watson. And so the penalty will be called, and shifting to the power play will be the Arizona Sting.
Well, Toronto has been getting caught on what has been probably their one and only weakness this year, is their offense getting back to take away the fast break from the other teams. They're just 2 fast breaks there, 2-on-1s, 3-on-2s. And late in this play, Scott Self makes the pass, and Patrick Merrill comes up with the elbow. We'll get 2 minutes for roughing there.
Bomberry across. Dirks handed it over. Bomberry there can really bring it out of Six Nations, Ontario. Dawson on back once more. Hard shot by Lindsey Plunkett is handled by Watson and outletted ahead for the carry by Brian Beazle. Beazle's team down by 1. Shear with 2. Wilson and Doyle with single goals for Toronto.
Generally, when a team is short-handed, Doc, they will just try to kill the 30 seconds, go to the net late with the 30-second clock, hopefully to get a shot and a reset. But the most important thing is they want to kill time.
Held behind, some swatting done on Rusty Kruger, but now the noise that you heard is the expiration of the shot clock. You think that they ought to be allowed? We'll get to that question in a moment, but we need to take a break here with 10:41 to go. Second period. The Sting have the lead over the Rock in this Champions Cup game, 5-4.
To be the best, you have to learn from the best. How would you like to learn to shoot like Gary Gait and see the field like Ryan Boyle? Now you can. Through University of La Crosse, where hundreds of today's best players, coaches, and instructors are teaching high school players to be tomorrow's stars. Go to universitylacrosse.com and unleash the game.
The Edge NLL Championship game is brought to you by New Edge Advanced Shave Gels. Refresh your save. By Vonage, the broadband phone company. By University La Crosse. Go to universitylacrosse.com and unleash the game. And by the all-new midsize H3. Check out Hummer.com for more. Well, our Vonage fan poll of the game, powered by iLoop Mobile, and we pose this to you with the Sting on a power play leading by 1. Who will win today's game? Or if you were to ask the pundits, they would have said that Toronto would be very well ahead by now and comfortable.
Well,
but they might be the same people that picked Toronto 5th and Arizona 7th out of a 10-team league back in the fall.
both coaches will tell you, the game's not played on paper. On paper, Toronto looks like the better team, but Arizona's got a lot of confidence in themselves. A young team that's really improved.
Bomberry got it over to Dawson, shoots, and it's blocked away by Watson, and it skips up into the seats. Souvenirs that you get to keep. 3 dozen balls autographed by the commissioner, Jim Jennings, are here and available. Those become real fan keepsakes, especially in Toronto if things go the way these fans want them to. But Arizona has been strong. 5 minutes played as of right now in the second quarter. Still Arizona shorthanded. You think they should be able to just kill the way they do in hockey without the shot clock for penalty killing?
Well, I think it makes it a lot more difficult to try to go get the ball if you can kill the whole time. I would like that, but I like the fact they want the goals, they want the power play to get the ball back. If we want to see some goals, we want to see some offensive chances.
Now Arizona to the last 8 seconds of their man advantage. It can be as many as 2 men out, as is the case with hockey. Onto the back now, it's fed across from Clark in front. Oh, and a skip shot that went wide, and that came from Lindsey Plunkett's stick. Scooped up now in advance by Patrick Merrill. Merrill for Toronto feeds it over for Brian Beazle, and he'll wait. Boy, Arizona's doing what it wants defensively, but that shot, an opening created for Rusty Kruger, and his shot went wide. Oh, and Doyle caught a stick up high from Daryl Gibson, and right back with it now on the attack, Arizona. Peter Veltman moving on for Arizona, trying to pull his way in. Nudges a little pass out in front, and Bruce Codd holding it, but the whistle blown for the crease violation. Peter Veltman saying, for what?
And Toronto the defense did a good job on Peter Veltman, pushing him into the crease. You can't step into the crease and shoot, regardless of whether you've been pushed there or not.
Right to the back, Josh Sanderson. Sanderson with a shot that was just deflected away. Good piece of work done there by Scott Self on defense. And a giveaway around in front. Sanderson score! Josh Sanderson, tie game!
And it's a nice shot by Josh Sanderson, but what makes this goal is the loose ball effort by Colin Doyle. Just as it looked like Arizona was going to pick it up, he scoops it up, makes a nice little 2-on-1 play. I think everyone was expecting Josh Sanderson to make the pass over to Matt Shear. He just squeezes it in the far corner.
Goal, 6 minutes and 28 seconds. Josh Sanderson.
Well, in all of the thoughts that we had earlier in the week, we expected perhaps this much scoring. We didn't anticipate it would be this even. Still lots of time. Dawson holding. Good defensive work done on him by Patrick Merrill. Not easy work. Out of the two-a-side, it squibs over to Merrill, and he can start the attack going for the rock again. He has Driscoll out there, gives it across now to Rosa. Now Driscoll coming off, and Rosa will settle things down. Rosa, the one guy who has gone longest without winning a championship, most games played. Something that he called to the attention of the league in an email. That's not exactly a notoriety thing that you'd want, but he was just being honest. He said, I'm going for this. I'm excited about it. I want you guys to know how long I've waited.
He wants to end it 126 games without winning the championship, and he hopes that'll all change this afternoon.
Self trots off. Jonas Dirks holding for Arizona. Shooting one, oh, and a rocket ricocheted off the glass. Out to get it is Watson, and he's able to cradle it. 7.25 minutes to go. First half, game tied at 5. I don't want to read too much into this. Did you think that it would be this close here in the first half?
Oh, I'm not surprised, but generally Arizona's game plan has been to fall behind by a few goals and come back and make the miracle comeback.
Josh Sanderson score! What a shot! Successive goals. It is 6-5 Toronto.
Josh Sanderson wants to make the most of this opportunity. The last championship game he was in, he was playing against the Toronto Rock. He scored 6 goals, 4 assists in a losing cause, and he wants to rectify that. This season will be his first chance. He's hoping to get his first Championships Cup. Nice shot through a screen. Chris Sellers in front of him, just through the legs.
There has been 1 2-goal lead in this contest by Arizona. There's only been a 1-goal lead. That's the most for the Rock. They have it now.
Sunday, when a sniper is hunting cops, stay out of the crosshairs.
You can end this right now.
You're right.
The season finale of Crossing Jordan, NBC Sunday.
With a win, New York is in, but Tampa's looking for some playoff action of their own. The drive to Arena Bowl 19 is in high gear. Sunday, 1 Eastern, NBC.
Second quarter, Toronto by 1. Coming up in our NBC studios, Jimmy Roberts with scores and news from across the sports world, including NCAA men's lacrosse tournament action. That's all coming up in our NBC studio.
Doc, who do you cheer for when you have a son on one team and a grandson on the other team? That's Mr. and Mrs. Veltman, Jim Veltman's father on the right and his mother on the left. Also grandparents of Peter Veltman on Arizona. And I don't know if you can see it, but Mrs. Veltman is wearing an Arizona Sting t-shirt and Mr. Veltman's wearing the Rock colors.
Yeah, they want Canadian Thanksgiving in the fall to be peaceful. Those groups get together. On now is Driscoll, handing it over as it's a 6-5 Toronto lead. Josh Sanderson looking for three, gave it across. Good hard drive that came from Matt Shear. Now Shear in front. Oh, and a safe rebound, and bounced in, and it's waved off. Chet Couture says no. Crease violation is the reason.
Violation, yes. Matt Shears was in the crease when the ball went in the net. On that funny bounce, if he had got out of the crease by the time the ball went in, that would have been a legitimate goal.
Dan Dawson, who is very good at moving just outside the crease before he dives and lets the shot go. Number 6 in white, fed that one over for Lindsey Plunkett, and it's outletted ahead, and here is a chance now is moving in. Is Rosa. Oh, and a great save was made by Miron. John Rosa, the guy who has waited so long, given a breakaway with his team up by 1. We watch this crease violation one more time.
Absolutely no question about that one.
Well, here's Kahn. Score! Oh, Craig Kahn with another goal. That's his 3rd of the game, 12th of the playoffs, and the Sting has tied it back up.
Craig Kahn can usually pull his way to the net, but he's showing he's got an outside shot as well. Up from the high slot. Through traffic, you see the Toronto defender in front of Bob Watson. It's always a good move to take that shot when somebody's running across the crease. John Rosa was chasing his man, and Craig Kahn took that shot almost at Rosa's hip.
Oh, here's a great feed in front, and Magdalena with a shot that was handled by Watson. Pat Magdalena was breaking right to the front of the crease and got that shot away, but that time it was Watson with a strong save, and Jim Veltman feeds it off and comes to the bench for an obedient change. Blaine Manning. Manning shooting. Stopped by Miron. Rebound! Score! Doyle! Oh, are the Stars ever performing for both of these teams, and the Rock are back ahead.
Watch Colin Doyle just running to the net and gets a fortunate rebound, and see how he keeps his feet out of that crease as that ball goes in. Just straddles around that crease. Just a fortunate bounce for Colin Doyle in the right spot.
Colin Doyle said before the game, the thing we have to do is make sure that Dawson and Kahn don't get loose. They have each scored twice. Go check that. Kahn has scored 3. But on the Toronto side, Josh Sanderson has 2, Doyle has 2, and Shearer has 2. 7-6 the Rock. Miron moves out, gets his body in the way, comes up with the ball, and is able to outlet ahead. Left behind by Self, but brought back on now by Mark Cochran. Cochran feeds it on back, Self with it. Shooting, and that blocked off quickly. Self up with it once more, and now we'll settle it down near center. Bomberry to the outside. They like to set him up for the big shot. Toronto has not been allowing that, nor did Calgary for that matter. Jonas Dirk's pass. That one blocked away. Dan Ladouceur doing some of the rough work in front. 6 in blue, and you see him chasing down and forcing the clock to go to 0, the 30-second shot clock, with Magdalena not able to get a shot away.
And that's a sound the defense likes to hear. You know, the defense have done a good job when they can waste 30 seconds and contain the offense for 30 seconds until that buzzer goes.
Josh Sanderson a shot, and Miron got his left leg on that one. Outlet pass ahead, deflected off of Peter Locke, but followed up now, and a long pass comes ahead, crossing is Peter Veltman, and a save made by Watson. Sterling plays at either end of the carpet. Right back ahead, Toronto on the attack again with the 1-goal lead. Clock leading down to the last 3:35 of the half. Hartford score! Aaron Wilson, 2-goal lead for the first time for Toronto.
Chances in both ends of the floor. Arizona gets a good scoring chance, but watch how fast they move it back up the floor. That's Peter Veltman. Uncle Jimmy is directing his team to move the ball up the floor quickly. And they do, and they take advantage of it. Aaron Wilson, who scored 41 goals in the regular season, scores one there, is second of the game and second of the playoffs.
E to the back. Will score! Another by Aaron Wilson. A one-hopper, and it's 9-6 Toronto.
And this one took something off this shot. Aaron Wilson scoring his second goal in a row. Another outside shot. This one he goes for the bouncer. 2 goals within 23 seconds for Aaron Wilson.
5 of the last 6 goals scored by Toronto. Veltman warming to the task, hands it over to Driscoll. And those two will come to the bench as they get the Gunners out there. Under 3 minutes to go, first half. Josh Sanderson with it. Hard shot scooped right up confidently by Miron, and a long bomb ahead, but it went floating well beyond the reach of the captain, Peter Locke. Watson had trouble getting that one, takes a man down. That was Magdalena. And play stopped with 2:33 to go. Ball goes over to Arizona. Play halted here with the score. The Toronto Rock 9, the Arizona Sting 6, going for the Champions Cup of the National Lacrosse League. Biggest lead of the day. Toronto has it now at 3 goals, 9-6. You see what they have been able to do, the Arizona Sting, and they have come from behind in every one of their victories. 7 of the 11 wins, they have come from behind in the 4th quarter.
A very resilient team, good coaching. This team has good composure. Last week, or 2 weeks ago in the semifinal against Calgary, they were down 11-7 starting the 4th quarter. They came back to win that. Against Colorado in the quarterfinal, they were down 8-3 in the 1st quarter. They came back to win that. So 3 goals is nothing for this team.
Here is Kahn. Kahn, a shot, and it's blocked away by Watson and steered on back for another attack coming from the Toronto Rock. Moving on ahead with it now is Beazle, and a shot is turned aside by Miron. Kahn again worked over by Doyle. Latter stages of the first half. Just over 2 minutes to go in it. And Toronto trailing it early 2-0. But a 2-goal lead in lacrosse is nil. Even 5-goal leads with 5 minutes to go can be made up. Toronto showed that against Philly earlier this year in one of the most thrilling games ever played at Air Canada Centre, when they scored 8 goals in the last 7-12 to come from 7 down and beat Philadelphia by 1.
Exactly. This is a game of runs, games of momentum changes. Toronto scored the last few, but it could change easily.
Manning with a feed, and Doyle with the goal, and it's 10-6 in favor of the Rock.
Colin Doyle showing you why he won so many awards this year. He goes to the net hard. His buddy Blaine Manning makes the pass. Colin Doyle picked up 111 points this year, the leading scorer. He was the Hummer MVP of the regular season. He's also another big game player. He's the MVP in the championship game twice in his career. That's a 4th in a row for Toronto, so they are on a run.
Players' awards such as the MVP for Colin Doyle, voted on by the Board of Governors of the 10 teams, the general managers, and the coaches. Quite an honor for him. Numerous honors have been handed out over the last 2 weeks by the National Lacrosse League. Good hard shot is stopped by Watson. And a crease violation. No, yes, it is a turnover at the front. It's ruled by the officials, and the ball will go to Arizona.
It was called a minor interference. You see a lot of these after they lost possession. The Toronto player knocked the Arizona player into the crease. Sometimes they're so quick they're hard to notice. There's a lot of pick and rolls. Lots of times teams cheat. They always push the envelope whenever they can.
Dawson a shot, and a good answer there by Watson. 30 seconds to go, and the deficit for Arizona is 4. And we get a timeout called by Bob Hamling.
Well, they get the timeout here. They're going to pull their goalie because there's 27 seconds remaining in the half, and they have a fresh 30-second clock. They'll pull the goalie for the extra attacker and try to get the shot with a couple seconds to go.
Anything in this first half surprise you?
Not really. You know, we talked about all the guys we talked about have performed well. And, you know, maybe the one guy we did neglect a bit was Aaron Wilson. But he scored 41 goals in the regular season. He doesn't get the same ink that the other three, Doyle, Josh Sanderson, and Blaine Manning do. But he can put the ball in the net, and he's showing it again today. But Greg Conn, Dan Dawson, no surprise there.
No. 27.9 to go. So the game clock and the shot clock are the same here. And Arizona wanting to get some kind of attack and confidence built. They have given up 6 of the last 7 goals.
Well, trust me that, you know, they've been in this situation many times. They're quite comfortable with coming back.
Bomberry. Dawson. Bomberry with 4 to go. Shot one wide. A rocket bouncing off the wall. Bomberry can't get the shot away as the half has ended. At one point, Toronto trailed in this game, but it was only by 2. A little larger lead for them at halftime, 10-6. But in the fourth quarter in particular, Arizona in their wins have outscored the opposition 53-27, a great second half team. Downstairs now to Mark Morgan.
Mike, thank you very much. Colin Doyle, you had a big first half, but what happened? The game back and forth, then it's 6-all, then boom, 4 straight goals by your team.
Lacrosse is a game of momentum. We took a bit of it away. They had it at the start. We took some back. Now we got to keep it going in the second half.
You're one of the leaders on this squad. Will you say something to the guys at halftime, and if so, what will that be?
I just want to get the message across that we need to keep our foot down on the pedal here because they're a team that doesn't quit.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Mike, back to you.
Okay, 10-6 is the score. The Toronto Rock ahead at halftime. Doyle has come up with 3 goals in this game. Josh Sanderson with 2. Aaron Wilson with 2 as well. Conn with a pair. Dawson with a pair of goals also for Arizona. Let's join Jimmy Roberts in our NBC studios. The Edge NLL championship game here from Air Canada Centre in Toronto, 10-6 in favor of the Rock at halftime. We hope you're enjoying this. Boy, we sure are, and I know that the commissioner of the National Lacrosse League, Jim Jennings, is as well. Your thoughts on the day and the week surrounding all of the events here in Toronto?
This has been great. I mean, we have a sellout crowd here in Toronto, and it's just the buzz has been unbelievable. I've been here for about 2 days now, and it's just been great. These fans are great. We have a lot of people from Arizona here, so we're really excited.
Not a bad game.
Not bad at all. I always knew it was going to be a good game. This Arizona team is a good team, and